Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I'll be taking a look at my top 5 police dramas, both British and American, with a couple of honourable mentions. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So in my number 5 slot I've chosen Homicide, Life on the Street. Now this series ran for 7 seasons with 122 episodes between 1993 and 1999. It was created by Paul Anastasio based on David Simon's book Homicide, A Year on the Killing Streets. It has an ensemble cast with a breakout and award-winning role for Andre Brenner as Detective Frank Pembleton. You probably recognise him from his other popular police role in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's also an incredible supporting role from actor Ned Beatty as Stanley Bollander and a consistently superb performance by Yaphet Kotto as Al Giardello. Dozens of familiar faces appeared throughout the series, and watching it today it's quite fun to look out for these actors from roles they played 30 years ago. Giancarlo Esposito, James Earl Jones, Chris Rock, an incredible episode Bop Gun from season 2 which starred Robin Williams. This is a gritty, tough-as-nails police procedural filmed in and around Baltimore. It's widely regarded by critics as being one of the most authentic police dramas of all. It regularly used music montages, jump cut editing, and the 3 times in a row repetition of the same camera shot during particularly crucial moments in the story. The episodes were also noted for interweaving as many as 3 or 4 storylines into a single episode. The series is wrapped up with a standalone movie released in 2000, which sees the return of the original cast as Yaphet Kotto's character runs for mayor. Definitely a series to check out. Next up in my number 4 slot is Kojak, another American series, this time set in New York. The TV series started after a TV movie, The Marcus Nelson Murders, released back in 1973. This was based upon a real-life double homicide of 2 professional women in 1966. Telly Savalas starred in The Marcus Nelson Murders as a police detective whose last name was spelled Kojak, that's K-O-J-A-C-K. The film served as a pilot for the Kojak television series. Kojak himself was a composite character based on a number of detectives, lawyers and reporters who were involved in the murder case. The show revolved around the efforts of the tough and incorruptible Lieutenant Theodopoulos Theo Kojak, a bold, dapper New York City policeman who was fond of Tootsie Pops and using the catchphrases "Who loves you, baby?" and "Coochie coo." Kojak was stubborn and tenacious in his investigation of crimes, and also displayed a dark, cynical wit, along with a tendency to bend the rules if it brought a criminal to justice. In the first season, Kojak is often seen smoking, but in line with the popular health benefits of not smoking, which really kicked in during the 1970s in America, the character moves over to his trademark lollipops. The show ran for 5 seasons with 125 episodes from 1973 to 1978. It was very successful in syndication with reruns around the world, and eventually, in 1989, the series was revived with a run of 5 TV movies, with Lieutenant Kojak now promoted to Inspector. Not a massive cast, but Savalas' own brother, George, appeared in almost every episode as Stavros. There is an early guest appearance by none other than Harvey Keitel in the Season 1 episode Siege of Terror, which is among my favourites. Certainly a series I remember loving as a kid. I even had the Kojak board game and his car, the Buick. The series is very episodic, with no ongoing themes throughout the seasons. You can easily drop in on any episode and have a pretty good idea of what you'll find. Still a great series today, 50 years after it first aired. In my number 3 spot, I've chosen the British series The Sweeney. Now, The Sweeney was a hard-hitting police drama focusing on 2 members of the Flying Squad, a branch of the Metropolitan Police specialising in tackling armed robbery and violent crime in London. It starred John Thor as Detective Inspector Jack Regan and Dennis Waterman as his partner, Detective Sergeant George Carter. Special mention to Regan's boss as well, Detective Inspector Frank Haskins, played by Garfield Morgan, who is superb in this role. It was produced by the Thames Television subsidiary Euston Films between January 1975 and December 1978. The programme's title comes from the real-world Cockney rhyming slang nickname Sweeney Todd, used to refer to the Flying Squad by London's criminal fraternity in the mid-20th century. After a successful pilot, the series ran for 4 seasons, comprising 52 episodes. It also featured 2 movies filmed during the TV run, Sweeney, 1977, and Sweeney 2 from 1978, both starring Thor and Waterman. These are even more violent than the TV series. Over the course of the 4 seasons, we are treated to pretty much every jobbing British character actor working at that time. The episodes on the whole are fast-paced, with the cream of TV directing talent working on the series. The lead pair have a reputation for boozing down the pub, smoking fags and pulling birds. The series has many, many quotable lines, but my favourites are "We're the Sweeney son and we haven't had our dinner," and "Put your trousers on, you're nicked." When this series finished, many of the same production crew and Dennis Waterman himself went on to work on Minder, which sees the same look and feel of the series carry on into the 1980s. My personal standout episodes are Payoff from Season 3, directed by the talented Douglas Camfield, Seasons 2 Country Boy, and the very last episode where Regan quits the force, Jack or Knave. It was a difficult choice making this my number 2, but The Wire is simply superb. An American crime TV series created and primarily written by author and former police reporter David Simon. The Wire premiered in 2002 and ended in March 2008. Comprising of 60 episodes over 5 seasons, the idea for the show started out as a police drama loosely based on the experiences of Simon's writing partner, Ed Burns, a former homicide detective and public school teacher. Set and produced in Baltimore, Maryland, The Wire introduces a different institution of the city and its relationship to law enforcement in each season, while retaining characters and advancing storylines from previous seasons. The 5 subjects are, in chronological order, the illegal drug trade, the port system, the city government and bureaucracy, education and schools, and then finally the print news medium. Simon chose to set the show in Baltimore because of his familiarity with the city. Each season has the same opening lyrics, but sung in a different way. An incredible cast with standout performances by Idris Elba, Dominic West, Lester Freeman, Andre Royo, Michael Kenneth and John Doman. Simon has said that despite its framing as a crime drama, the show is really about the American city and how we live together. It's about how institutions have an effect on individuals, whether one is a cop, a longshoreman, a drug dealer, a politician, a judge, or a lawyer. All are ultimately compromised and must contend with whatever institution to which they are committed. It really must be watched as a 5-season epic from start to finish, in order. Themes and characters introduced in the early episodes don't get a payoff until the very end. You will be rewarded for your patience. I remember getting into this during, I think, its 3rd season. It wasn't a big hit, but like a fine wine, it is very much improved with age, and I feel it's an incredible snapshot of what Baltimore and the wider American social and political scene was like at the time. Today the show is consistently cited as being one of the best shows ever created for TV, and comes highly recommended. My final choice, and still my favourite police drama of them all, is Between the Lines. Between the Lines was a police drama created by J.C. Wilshire and produced by World Productions for the BBC. It was first shown on BBC One between 1992 and 1994, running for 3 seasons with a total of 35 episodes. The show centred on the eventful life of Detective Superintendent Tony Clark, played by Neil Pearson. Clark was an ambitious member of the Complaints Investigation Bureau, CIB, an internal organisation of the Metropolitan Police that investigates complaints against officers as well as claims of corruption inside the police force. Along the way, Clark has to overcome pressure from his superiors and problems in his private life, most notably the breakup of his marriage following an affair with the WPC. Throughout the series, Clark was assisted by colleagues Harry Naylor, played by Tom Georgeson, and Maureen Mo Connell, played by Siobhan Redmond. The show became a surprise hit for the BBC, winning a British Academy Television Award, a BAFTA, for Best Drama Series in 1994. In 2000, it was voted into the 100 Greatest British Television Programmes by the British Film Institute. A forerunner to the hugely popular Line of Duty, this series, with its crisp dialogue and excellent casting throughout, made it a huge hit from the very first episode. Some critics deride the final series, which largely takes place outside the Met, but I think it's still very compelling and very bingeable today. Once started, you'll get through a season in no time. I really cannot recommend this series highly enough, and I urge you to track it down and watch it immediately. It really is that good. So there you go. It was an agonising choice, and I could have easily expanded this to a top 10. I would also like to mention NYPD Blue, The Shield and Line of Duty as all being great shows that I do love, but I feel these that we've looked at today were my personal favourites. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed my 5 favourite police dramas. If you have, do please give the video a thumbs up. Do please hit that subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage retro content, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.